So many messages on Arsenal. Here is Fletcher's assessment on why he thinks they are losing control in the title race.
I feel like we're so desperate not to lose and just so desperate to win the title that we're like the guy who's so desperate for love. He reeks of desperation, so can't get it and just sees it slip away. We reek of desperation.
Is he talking about me there, Joe? The guy that's so desperate for love, reeks of desperation? Or more about Arsenal?
I mean, yeah, you can tell. Like most Arsenal fans, to be fair, they get maybe a little bit too high when it goes their way, and they maybe get a little bit too low when it doesn't go their way. There's no in between. But no, listen, I get the fact that they need to be worried because it's a massive drop of points last night. But I still believe in him. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. But
no, fair play. You're sticking to it. Look, so more on the title race with Jody as we ask him to predict the run-in, right, for Arsenal and for Manchester City. That to come. Before we do that, by the way, this is how City and Arsenal have compared in terms of points in the final 12 games of the last 4 seasons. Arsenal obviously now got 11, Manchester City 12. Will that affect the way they go in the run-in when you look at this? So Manchester City, Jody, in the column of 21-22, 22-23, 23-24, 24-25, 30, 31, 32, 27, ahead on all 4.
Obviously, if you're in the City dressing room, you'll be making this point to all your players. I'm sure Pepper's picked this up. I'm sure
just the PowerPoint presentation for Pepper.
Yeah, well, I mean, it will just be, listen, they've got enough in the bank in what they've done in previous seasons where they've got a lot to rely on, where Arsenal obviously haven't. But I believe Arsenal's squad this year is different to all these previous seasons. I think it's never been stronger under Arteta. And like I said, I think Man City are still in that little bit of a transitional period, and I don't believe they're going to hit those numbers.
Yeah, fair point. Right, these are the remaining fixtures for both sides. Is there anything that stands out for you here when we look at the remaining games in the Premier League? So 11 for Arsenal, 12 for Manchester City. They've got the North London derby, top of the pile there, Jody. Then your lot, Chelsea, at home. And actually, we were just talking during the break, weren't we? Let's let people into what we were saying. At home, at the Emirates, and I was there for the Sunderland game, and I didn't sense any nerves from the home fans. But that's because they'd gone first and they thought that City weren't going to win at Anfield, right? It turned out that Manchester City did get those 3 points. But those nerves seem to transmit to the players, which is, I mean, how does that work as a player? Yeah,
I think it's difficult, but I think that's when the players need to try and remain as separate as you can from the anxiety in the stadium. Like I said there, I do believe Arsenal fans can maybe go a little bit too high or maybe too low. If that's the manager's job and the staff's job to try and maintain a bit of composure. And I do believe that the fact that Man City have been here and done it is all well and good, and they deserve a pat on the back for previous seasons. But I do think there's something in Arsenal's previous seasons where they've kind of been there and, OK, they haven't managed to get over the line, but they finished strong on some of those seasons. And I do believe they're stronger than they've ever been this year.
So, look, apart from the obvious, Manchester City there, right in the middle of the pile, at the Etihad, 18th of April, what really stands out as a red flag for Arsenal?
I think the Chelsea game is always going to be a bit of a problem, I think, for both teams. But I think the home game against Chelsea will obviously be difficult because I think Chelsea were better than them with 10 men in the previous fixture. But Arsenal have then got the upper hand against us they played against each other in the Carabao Cup. As I said, I believe that the Chelsea game for the Man City run-in is going to be a problem as well because I think we'll end up beating them.
By the way, in the reverse fixtures for Arsenal, they're unbeaten in all of those games. So we've asked you to predict the results in the remaining 11 for Arsenal, the remaining 12 for Manchester City. Don't shoot the messenger, shoot Jody Morris. This is his thoughts here. So winning the North London derby. Talk us through what you got for Arsenal there, Jody.
Yeah, well, I just believe that Spurs are nowhere near it for me this season. I know they got a new manager. I believe it's the perfect game for Arsenal and Arteta to go into after that disappointment last night. And every time I look at these teams that they're going up against, I mean, as I said, I believe that they're going to have too much for like most of them. I think the Man City one may be a bit of a problem. But
so you've only got, apart from Manchester City, you've only got Arsenal dropping points against Chelsea. Win every other game.
Well, yeah, no, I've got the Man City one.
Yeah, so I mean, apart from that.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to finish strong. I do.
Look, you got City finishing strong as well, but you're saying they lose at the Bridge, Manchester City,
obviously,
Chelsea, obviously, draw against Newcastle. They drop points in 1, 2, 3 games.
Yeah.
Lose against Chelsea, but draws against Everton and Newcastle, which would mean, if we fast forward in the title race, that Jody Morris thinks that it does not even go to the final day and Arsenal win it by 4. So Jamie, he was on earlier, the Arsenal fan, will see that trophy lift against Burnley at the Emirates in the penultimate game, not even going to final day drama, Jody.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, as I said, I think it will be done by then. Who knows? I mean, talking about things that could happen, I mean, we could have this Arteta team. They were all throwing them under the bus. They could end up with more points than their great Invincibles if they win every game. Do you know what I mean? So it's still in their hands.
But you've got Chelsea playing a part in the run-in, haven't you? There. Chelsea draw, Chelsea win. We shall see. Next, we're going to be talking...
Well, after that draw, this is where Arsenal are currently in the Premier League table. Still top of the table, 5 points clear of Manchester City, but of course have played that game extra and they're still yet to face each other as well, which comes on to the next point of the remaining fixtures. We're finally at that stage of the season now where we can get all of the fixtures onto the same page. But in terms of what's to come compared to Manchester City, how do you see this?
It's all about football's all about timings. You play teams at certain times in the league. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can look down here at West Ham, they're 18th in the league, but that might be their game that they're fighting for survival, or they might have won 5 on the trot and they're middle of the table and they're safe and they're on holiday. You just don't know with the timings of the games. Like, Aston Villa could already be in the top 4, cemented, might be in the Europa final, and they're done. Do you know what I mean? And that game's not as hard as what it looks on paper. So it's difficult. I always look at the next 2. Arsenal have got Chelsea and Tottenham. They are 2 very difficult games. More so, no disrespect to Newcastle and Leeds. You take Newcastle and Leeds over Spurs and Chelsea to start with.
Yeah, and I think Mace is exactly right. And I know we're going to go on to another slide in a minute, but the big thing I always go off is past experiences and how teams finish. And we know how Manchester City finish. I know we're going to show something in a minute, but we know how they finish. We know how Pep Guardiola finishes, and this obviously shows what we're talking about now. And he is an absolute monster at finishing strong, Pep Guardiola. And that's what I go off. I go off experiences, and I keep mentioning about Man City being sat at home, but they'll be sat at home now looking at this going, yeah, this is a bit of us. So, yeah, we look at this here and how they finish seasons. It's unbelievable the way they do it.
Yeah, this is just demonstrating the amount of points won by both Arsenal and Manchester City over the last 4 Premier League seasons in the last 12 games. Of course, different teams. You can argue whether Manchester City have got the same team as what they've had the last couple of seasons. But when you look at that, you speak about the experience. They're going to need to get this momentum, aren't they? Because they don't want the same thing to happen where City are having such a strong end to the season and Arsenal can't.
Well, I wouldn't want to be in Arsenal's shoes if it happens again. I mean, I was quite shocked with the interview of Arteta then. First time, really, I've seen him not majorly positive. Do you know what I mean? Usually he comes out, we've done this, we've done that, and he's saying, we deserve the hit, we deserve the hit. Instead of coming out and going, we're 5 points clear, as long as we don't get beat by Man City, we go same as them, we win the league. Wasn't like that. Even he was I was a bit worried with that interview. Even he's finding it now and he's thinking, wow, you can only do to the team so much. And when you're watching that, there's something missing. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something missing. And if I had to highlight something, I would highlight what Marnie did to the 3 lads. Madueke, Martinelli, Saka. He brings the ball down and he just literally turns away from them. First half or 7, 9, 10 games ago, they take the ball off him and they were up the pitch and it's a counter-attack. Something's missing. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes if they don't win the league this year, because if they ain't winning the league this year, I remember Patrick Vieira saying before the Man United game when he was on with Roy Keane, he said now or never. And I'm starting to think now. I was very bullish about Arsenal winning the league. That's half scared me tonight.
If you're playing that dressing room tonight and you're looking ahead to the next couple of games, of course, you've got Northern and Derby coming up at the weekend. How important is the reaction now?
It's important for leaders within the dressing room. I know there's a lot of leaders in that dressing room. Bukayo obviously come out and spoke, but we've also got Gabriel, Saliba, obviously other guys behind the scenes now as well being injured. It's about leaders stepping forward, about leaders standing up strong, going in tomorrow, wiping the floor with it, going, right, that's gone now. The next one is the big one, which is a big one for Arsenal. It's absolutely massive. And then after that, there's another big one. So we're talking about 2 massive ones coming up for Arsenal, and it's important they dust themselves down, they get themselves going, they look at where they went wrong tonight, because I think a lot's gone wrong tonight for Arsenal, and really put it to bed then for Sunday, because, like I said, 2 real big games coming up.
And get 3, 4, 5, get goal difference up. And for some reason, we'd set up differently and thought, yeah, that'll do. And no, you can't do it in the Premier League, even against a team like Wolves. And like Arteta said, take up the chin. It's our fault. We've now got to respond. And what a game on Sunday to do it against Spurs. But before that, questions all around the club for sure.
Do you feel that pressure inside? Just explain what's going on inside that body this morning, Jamie, because is it the same thing as what's happening inside the Arsenal players when you watch them?
For the first time all season, last night was one night I struggled to get to sleep. It was in my head, it was constant of, we're going to do it again. Is this going to happen? And look, what's getting me through it is the City aren't the City of old. Mm-hmm. They're still a great team, but they are not the team, Centurions or even the ones to get 90 plus points. That's the only thing right now that's keeping me somewhat calm, that we can still do this. And I do think we still do it. Maybe it's not as clear as we thought weeks ago, 6, 7 points. But I do think if we can go to the Etihad with at least a 4-point gap, I think we can see it through from there.
Jamie, do you think the game next being Spurs is exactly what you need as a club to bounce back from this? I know it's obviously a derby and it's always going to be a tough fixture, but it's almost like if I was a player or a manager, this is the type of game that I would want, because you don't need any team talks to go in and face your North London rivals, do you?
100%. That's the one game of all the games of the season you think, right, okay, regardless where it is, whether it's at the Emirates or at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, you don't need any pre-match talk, you don't need anything. Just look at the fans, look at them at the stadium, look at them before the game. That's the one game, if you're wearing the cannon, you have to be up for. No exceptions at all.
There could be another side to that question though, that Jody asked. And Tottenham fans, does Igor Tudor even need a pre-match team talk? From a Spurs point of view, they say, look, you want to get some respect back on this football club's badge. Here's the North London derby at our place. They will have. They don't need motivation to dent your title race, do they?
No, they don't. Look, they need the points as well. They're not in a relegation scrap, but they're certainly in the bout situation. A few bad results could really turn them the wrong way. But like I said, Arsenal got league dreams, Spurs got relegation worries. For me, this year's chance to show your quality. We're a better team than them, better squad than them. They've got the injuries. Yes, they'll be a bit up for it, especially with a new manager. But this is the perfect time for Arteta to get the players in and go, look, you want to win it? You want to be history makers? Start now. Then you got Chelsea after that, which is another big game.
Yeah, you better get the points in now, Jamie, because obviously you ain't going to get that many points against us.
Jamie, come on, be honest, because this could be, right, and I'm winding you up a little bit here, but it could be a quadruple of second-place finishes in 4 years. Would this be, if that is to happen, the hardest of the bunch to take?
Oh, by a country mile. Country mile. The first year, we didn't expect to be there. Second year, we went toe-to-toe pretty much, end of the season. I think it was 11 wins in the last 13. Last year, we had a few injuries, and Liverpool were just better. This year, complete and utter meltdown. Bottle, throwaway, whatever you want to call it, pathetic. Nothing short of that. And if we don't win it, come what may, the club needs to have a real think about what is it? Is it the players? Is it Arteta himself that can't get it over that line? If saving grace, we somehow win Champions League, it's not replaced the Premier League at all, but it's definitely gone, okay, you've done that. Why can't you transfer that to domestic football and win the league as well? And look, a Carling Cup or Carabao Cup and FA Cup, that won't fix it if we don't win the league.
But there was, as there always is, and there was with Liverpool a couple of seasons ago, all this talk of, quadruples. And it's still on the cards, right? All 4 are still on the cards. But come on, tell me how many you think Arsenal are going to get over the line out of 4.
Look, a few weeks ago, media were saying it, and rightly so, we'll top the league by a few points, League Cup final, top of Champions League. Real chance. And I do still think we'd win a trophy this year. Which one is it? I couldn't tell you now. That game in Wembley in a few weeks, that's now huge. If City win that, and within smelling distance of us, they're going to smell blood, and they're going to really try to track us down. And have we got the bottle? you wouldn't say yes right now. So it's a big one, but I think we win something. And I'll still say hard. We win the Premier League. I'll stick to my guns. I've said it all season, but it won't be as clear cut as I was hoping it was going to be.
Jody, what are you saying? 0-4. What are you giving Arsenal?
Yeah, I'm giving them 2. I think they win one of the domestic cups, and I think they win the league. I agree. I think the Carabao Cup is going to be huge for both teams, both squads. I think us in the media or fans, however you want to call it, I think whoever wins that game, we're all going to put all our money and shove it in on the victor of the Carabao Cup. But I still believe there's going to be enough in the tank for Arsenal to get over the line in the Premier League. Purely like, I think I agree with Jamie, and I know Will don't like to hear it, but this city is not the city of old.
Jamie makes a great point. I mean, you probably as Arsenal fans aren't that worried about City based on this season, but you're probably thinking more about the muscle memory that Pep Guardiola's got and getting it done, right?
Well, I think it's still Man City, it's still Pep Guardiola, it's still Haaland, it's still got world-class players. They haven't been performing this season, but they're still that close to us, and that says a lot about it as it is. We've been good in times, obviously since January. You said it before, the form's the exact same, but they are definitely winning games a lot more easier than we do. Every game we win, bar maybe Leeds and Sunderland, bit of a struggle. We kind of just get over the line. They seem to, the Fulham game 3 weeks ago, 3-4 up at half time, that was them done. And we just don't seem to do that, which is really strange because our attack is really good, but we just can't, I don't know why we can't
Jamie,
get it.
what do you think about your defence? I know there was obviously a goal for the equaliser last night where it's like, Ray, has he called for it? Has Gabriel, should he have moved out of the way? But considering how your defence started the league, I mean, where they are now, I mean, they seem to be conceding a lot more goals, don't they? What do you think, what's the reasons behind that?
Yeah, I mean, could it be nerves? I'm not sure. We started the season, like you said, so on fire. And there's been twice this season now, Ryan Gabriel have had that similar mistake away at Sunderland, last-minute equaliser, and obviously last night. And look, a goalkeeper, if he's going for it, you've got to shout. We obviously don't know. We can only assume he did. As a defender, you've got to kind of either trust your goalkeeper or be the one to go, cool, I'm getting rid of this. I'm taking the initiative. But we're looking... Timber's looked a shade of himself recently. Ben White was on the bench last night. I don't know why he didn't come on. Nketiah has been looking better. Calafiori is usually the starter, but even Saliba, we saw it the last few weeks, a big striker against him. He's looking a bit fragile and a bit not himself. And we're used to seeing this almost world-class centre-back for the last few years. He's now... Is he getting a bit scared? Is Gabriel getting jittery? It's so weird to see these two, especially the jittery ones. They've been so calm, so... I just hope Gabriel Heinz is having a word of him the next few days.
Jamie, you're sounding jittery. I can sense it.
No, as like I said, I still think we win the league, but muscle memory's there. We've done it before. We've fallen away at the last hurdle, and I don't know. It does all kind of hinge on that Carabao Cup. If we can win that, I think, like you said, we follow through. It's just if we, same as last year, get a Turf Champions League draw, maybe we get City in the semi-final of the FA Cup as well. All of a sudden, you've got your whole season down to 2-3 weeks of football, which is not what you want. That's a lot of pressure, and clearly they can't deal with it.
Jamie, I just wonder how much the psychology comes into play here as well, because you guys have been top of the Premier League since, I think it's match week 7, right? Manchester City haven't been top since the first game when they beat Wolves, and that doesn't count after one game, does it? So the fact that, and it's not a fact, but if you were to not win the North London derby, right, and you would just say to take a point in Igor Tudor's first game, away from home, by the way, and Manchester City beat Newcastle and then go and beat Leeds because they played before you, City could be top before your next game after the North London derby. And then you build up towards that League Cup final at Wembley and then the big meeting in the Premier League at the Etihad on the 18th of April. Psychology's huge, isn't it, when it comes to run-ins?
Massive. And last night was massive because we had won the game. We'd have always been in front of them due to our game in hand against Palace not being put into a week yet. So that was a huge chance for us to really go, cool, we're going to be in charge. We're in front, you catch us. And now, if second we drop a point, whether it be against Spurs on Sunday or Chelsea next week, they're going to be there. I fully expect them to, even though they've not been that good this year fully, I still expect City to win most games. Even watch them. They do let in chances. They've got the players to kind of counteract at the other side. So it's a big chance now. And they play, like I said before, us most of the time. But I just keep going back to that game against Spurs. you cannot ask for a better game as managers, as players, as fans to go, right, okay, you want to do it? Prove to the fans you want to do it. Because after last night, there's a lot of doubt in the fan base.
And with everything that's been said over the last 10 minutes, Jamie, where do you sit then now? Bearing in mind there'll be a lot of Arsenal fans watching, hanging on the air every word here, ready to come for you. Where do you sit with Mikel Arteta's future if he doesn't get the Premier League over the line?
Doesn't win the Premier League. I don't think he'll be sacked, but I can see a world in which he walks himself. He's that sort of man. He goes, if I can't do this here, maybe I just can't do it. And look, if he wins Champions League, then it's a different question. But the Premier League and nothing else, not sacked, but definitely he'll look himself in the mirror and go, am I the man for this? And
Jody?
if he's here come July,
we
I'll
can
be
tell
shocked.
you're a City fan, Will. I can't believe you've asked that question. I can't believe you've asked that question.
Just a question, just asking.
No, he's got to stay. He's done a great job.
Got to stay. So
Yeah.
0 trophies, got to stay. You'd be in that camp, Jody, yes?
Yeah, if he's unlucky in all 4 trophies, I would stick with him.
Unlucky in all 4 trophies? Then what? So you lose the League Cup final against City. Champions League's a lottery, Jamie, isn't it? I mean, look how many great teams don't win the Champions League. And the FA Cup is a bit of a lottery in terms of the draw that you could get, right? So, I mean, actually, the one that you thought that was the given was the one we're talking about.
Yeah, 100%. The one a few weeks ago, you'd go, cool, Premier League's kind of not done, but that's in the back burner now.
Yeah.
Can we do the Carabao Cup? Can we do the FA Cup and Champions League? And now it's going, oh, can we do the Premier League? Oh, okay, what about just the FA Cup? And just the FA Cup and Carabao Cup will not do for this season. It has to be one of the big 2.
Jamie, let's just finish. Are we going to the final day, Premier League? Palace, you've got City, got Villa at home?
No, because I'm going to the last home game of the season. I want to see the trophy lift then, so we're going to win it on the last home game.
Which is Burnley, I think, isn't it? Yeah, we're going to see Jody's draw up of how these title points pan out a little bit later on Fan Club. Jamie, good call, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Right, next up, it